Okay, David Gray, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you.
You're back here in November on your past and present Australian tour, playing songs from the new album, Dear Life, plus all the hits. How have the new songs been going down live with audiences?
It's been fantastic. I mean, some of them have become like a tour de force instantly. We've opened most nights, we've opened with After the Harvest, but Leave Taking is the one that's really taken on a life of its own, plus and minus as well. I've had Talia Ray on the tour with me. So doing that duet has been a big moment. But no, it's been amazing. The quiet moments, the center of the record is That Day Must Surely Come and Sunlight on Water. And both of those songs have a power, a dreaminess that really does take the whole audience on a trip. So whether they know the song or not, there's an authority there in it that spontaneously just grabs them. It's been wonderful to watch something. The act of becoming, when something is being born into a new form, into a new shape, with a new room, with a new audience, a new moment for me and for them. That's what it's all about, as far as I'm concerned. It's been a heady mix of the past and present tour has done everything I'd hoped it was going to do. But watching the new music land, as well as some of the old obscura music too, when you see something from the past really connect, something that it's when people aren't expecting it, when you've taken them somewhere and they didn't know they were going to go there. Those are my sort of favorite moments, and they just power up the show. And then when we start to hit them with the sort of thrusters, the big thrusters come out, and the pyros, when it all kicks off on the big songs, then that's how it feels sweet. Like it tastes so sweet when you've really taken them on a journey. So no, it's been amazing and super rewarding and super intense.
Yeah. Speaking of pyros, you'll be in the country at the same time as Metallica and AC/DC. Did you ever get into a little hard rock in your teen days?
It was, I was a mod, not a rocker. So it was it's much as I can enjoy the sort of the lowest common denominator kind of stomp of the whole thing now. At the time, I was very much a mod. Back when all that shit was kicking off, people would have Black Sabbath and AC/DC written on their textbooks or on the school bag, and I was basically into Madness, the Specials, and all that stuff. So I chose to kind of short haircut, and I never had a moped, but if there'd been one around, I'd have been in one of those.
Back to your music. Any pre-show ritual? So, what do you do moments before going on stage?
Moments before going on stage, I do my what my version of vocal warm-ups. So for about half an hour before I go on stage, I'll just be running up a few vocal shapes, like blues shapes. It's not like doing scales. I might do a few gentle scales just to kind of loosen up. So pre-gig rituals, I'm normally exhausted, so I'd normally take a nap after dinner, no more than 40 minutes, and then always leaving an hour and a half before the show. And when you've had a little sleep, you've got to open the voice again. So these are my things. So I might have a drink to loosen me up, vodka cranas, something like that. A lot of the time these days I won't drink. I'll drink after the show. So I'm just more going into the zone, really. So pacing around a lot, doing vocal warm-ups, looking at the set list, thinking about how I'm going to work it and what I'm going to do, the stories I might tell tonight, that kind of thing. I'll go out before and watch the support act to get a feel for how the room is playing, how people are listening, whether they're a listening audience or they're just a drunken bunch of maniacs or somewhere in between. So I just do all kind of, it's basically like a science, really. I'll just be checking the engine before I turn on the ignition, etc.
Yeah. What about your sound check? How do you use sound check? Do you try out new songs, try out covers, or just test the sound?
We test the sound, but it's a long sound check. I always sound check for over an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes longer. So it sort of serves as my warm up. And because on the past and present tour, we're revolving the set very radically. If I say tonight we're going to play X, Y, and Z, which we haven't played for like 5 weeks, we'll run those songs in the sound check. We only get one run through, and then everyone has to play it on the night. So it's just it's a slight rehearsal for doing that. So otherwise, it would just be too mad. I mean, we've rehearsed up sort of 70 odd songs, and just throwing things at people, it's going to go wrong. So try and give them a chance to get on the case. So that's kind of how I use the sound check. Yeah, you know, if I'm in a mood, like a musical mood, I might start writing a little bit, like just because the space of a room, what creates a new song is really it's the same old notes and the same old chords, but it's the context and the sound around which in the way it's the way you receive that musical information. So if you're in a new space, electrified in a room, the resonance of everything is fresh and new, and just playing with my usual guitar effects, moving around in my usual fashion, it might just suddenly something might just catch my ear and go, oh, that sounds really sweet. It's just C to G, but and then I'll use my little looper, maybe start a little loop, and then start looking for some melodies, and then maybe even a lyric at the end of it. And I just store those things with a phone memo or something, or the front of house guy will record them. And yeah, I often finish the sound check like that. So, or just doing songs on my own on the mic, just to anything I might do as a solo thing that night that I haven't played in a while. So that's kind of what it is. It's like it's a taking the temperature, not just of myself and the room and getting the sounds right. It's getting a feel for what the band feel like each day and what we're up for. How tired are we? How, what is everyone grumpy? Are they in good mood? Those kind of things.
Yeah. What are your main stage guitars these days?
Well, I've gone back to my Loudon, the one I bought in 1994. So J25, big, massive jumbo, from which I've had for many years. It's the guitar I recorded most of White Ladder with. I mean, in 2005, Martin got in touch with me because I always had a treble 018, and I bought some Martin guitars, and they saw that, and they did a David Gray guitar, which was a treble 018 with a cutaway, and I was given one, the initial one, and then I bought two more, so I had three of those, and those were my sort of workhorse guitars for many years, and I still use those for like open tunings and things. But I found that my Loudon just holds tuning better, and it's a beast to play. It's like I use big strings as well, so I don't use like delicate strings. I'm right up there with my great big chunky strings, and it's got quite an action on it, and it's got quite a neck on it, and it's quite a workout for the fingers, but. Oh, there's something about a Loudon. It's just got a little bit of character, a little bit of wildness to it that a Martin doesn't have. A Martin has a very sweet and uh, beautifully turned out kind of tone, a very even tone. Whereas the Loudon's a little bit more boomy and a little bit more wild, but there's a sweet spot there that's just unique. So I'm not like a guitar-y kind of guy, but that's the guitar. It's my main, what we call the hero. That's the hero guitar on this tour is the Loudon. That's the one I'm playing, and I'm sort of trying to get less guitar changes. So I try and just keep it out on the stand and just put the capos on myself wherever possible. So that's the big fella, the Loudon, but the Martin's backing it up.
Okay. Yeah. International musicians travel the world, spreading joy and love. In the background, there are a lot of powerful, greedy people doing the opposite. Do you believe that the power of music can still defeat the greed and evil?
I don't think it's a music v evil scenario. There's enough problems within the industry itself. There's a lot of greedy people running the music industry. There's a lot of good people too. And I think that's true of politics. I think there's a lot of idiots. It's very difficult to engage in a world that's become so polarized. It's hard to put your voice in the ring. So I think everything becomes so idiotic so fast. One thing I've really tried to do on this tour is remain outside of that reality and create a reality in the room that's sort of earthing and true to the music. And if the music's worth anything, it's got some kind of root in reality. So I wanted an emotional truth in the room that wasn't contaminated by slagging off President Trump or whoever you want to have a pop at. I mean, we're in a dark time and it's going to get darker, I feel. So, what music can do, it just needs to retain its dignity. I mean, I don't want a bunch of fucking halfwits telling me what to think because they think they're fucking cool, like because they've sold a few records. It's like it just what you don't want to do is just react. It's like the way we receive information, the way we receive news, the sort of heightened emotion between the way everything is put across now just creates a reaction, and I just don't want to be a part of that little chain. So I think whatever I want to do, I want to have weighed it carefully. It's very hard not to speak out when there's genocide and God knows what else taking place. And it's a free for all. It seems just take whatever you want. That's the kind of new world order. And to hell with your friends, and on you go. So yeah, this is a weird context, and it just makes what happens when people of all political colors come together in a room to listen to music and share in the emotion of the occasion. It makes that more important to me, and I don't want it to be. I remember a few years ago when Trump was coming in, like before he got in the first time, it looked like it might be on the offing, and I made a comment in America on stage, and half the audience booed me. And I thought, wow, okay, half my audience are actually in favor of this guy. So I thought, yeah, that's interesting because they live in a totally different reality over here, and the way he looks to us is completely different. The American reality is always a little bit isolationist, I think, and so not for everyone, but for a lot of people. So you can feed that fire very easily. Yeah, these are crazy times, and occasionally it comes into my music in subtle ways, and then sometimes not so subtle. But it's very hard to find satisfying ways to engage without being preachy.
Yeah. One more question, I'll let you go. What are you most proud of in your music career?
Um, well, I mean, I think the way that I've I've kind of kept. I don't know. I don't. That's not really for me to judge what I've done or what I haven't done. The joy that it still gives me, and the joy I see on the faces of the audiences. So the sort of the fact that that's still so powerful and so fresh after all these years. Well, basically, I guess what it is, I mean, proud is a kind of trigger word where you start crying on reality TV, and everyone's proud all the time of bloody everything, whether they've opened an envelope or fucking won the fucking prime ministership. It's like everyone has to be so fucking proud. So I'd say that it's the amount I've put into it, and to see that still there, it's to see it still resonating, to see the effort didn't go nowhere. It's sort of it's but anyway, what else could I do? I'm only trying to survive, so I'm not really proud of that. All I'm doing is doing what I can do. So I'm proud of the songs that I think are the best things I could possibly do. And on this record, I would probably point you first to That Day Must Surely Come, leave taking. I'm proud of doing my best. Of course I am. I take pride in my work, but I think the word pride and proud, they're just tripwires that make you look like an idiot. So I try and resist being proud and just try and keep the quality threshold high.
Yeah. Well, David, it's been great to chat, and we look forward to seeing you in Australia in November.
I'm looking forward to it too. So thank you.